What's up folks, it's Chilly here, and today I'm going to be going over how to play as the Koreans. This is a new modded civilization for AOE4. I worked on it with fellow modder and creator Hossein, and the first thing you're going to have to do is, after you launch AOE4, you're going to go over to the mod store, over here, and you're going to search for the Koreans. This is a game mode bundle. You can also search into all mods, and either look up Hossein, or look up the Koreans, and you should be able to see all the mods. It's one of the top ones right here. You just click on that, and just hit subscribe. So in this case, I'm already subscribed, so I'm gonna unsubscribe. And when you hit subscribe, it'll install the mod for you. And then give us a nice little rating as well, if you don't mind. Once you have the mod installed, we're gonna go over to play mode, and you can either do this in a single player skirmish, or you can do this in a custom skirmish map with you and some friends if you want to play multiplayer. Koreas should work with all those situations. What we want to make sure is that you go over to game mode and you make sure that you select the Korean. So this is the game mode right here. After you select it, it should automatically set the tuning pack to the Koreans as well. Just double check and make sure you have this thing clicked as well. In this case, we're going to be turning on cheats so I can show you guys everything that's going on here, and we'll have resource maxed out as well. We're going to start out by just showing you guys all of the units available with the civilization, and then after that we'll go into showing like a basic build order. Let's get into it. So a couple things about the Koreans. It is based on Drushi's Legacy. You have to make sure you pick the civilization Drushi's Legacy. It does replace Drushi's Legacy. Unfortunately, we do have modding restrictions, so we can't make a totally new civ. So instead, we're just kind of building it off of an existing one. So for the Koreans, let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys everything. So the first thing you'll notice here is there's a new kind of resource counter over here, as well as this little thing over here. So this is the Imperial officials. You might be familiar with that if you play as the Chinese. The Koreans don't have strictly Imperial officials. They have something called the Seonbi Scholar, and we'll be kind of going over that in just a second. This thing, though, is the key difference with the Koreans. This is called literature. It's a fifth resource that the Koreans use to research technology. So the Koreans don't have access to, they don't build technologies like, they don't research technologies like regular civs. Instead, they have to, you have to build this Seowon Academy here. So this Seowon Academy basically generates literature based on the amount of resources nearby. So you'll notice that like when I'm hovering over, it's just like the meditation gardens. You can set it up here and it'll produce literature automatically. And literature is the resource that you need for pretty much everything. So here, so let me build up some like some buildings here so we can show you guys. And I have cheats on so everything builds basically instantly. So right here, you'll notice that if I mouse over wheelbarrow, it'll cost 200 book, and that's actually the literature resource. So if I use this, I can now, because I have basically infinite literature in this game mode, it just works. After you build your first Seowon Academy, you actually automatically, the first one automatically spawns a Seonbi Scholar. So this is a scholar unit, and you'll notice that here we actually got the flag showing here. So there's some things we can kind of tweak, some things we can't, like the building we can't. But we did add completely new icons for all the unique units and texts in this civ. So there should be at least a little bit of unique feeling to it. So the Seonbi Scholar is kind of like an Imperial official. If I, let's say I build a barracks or something like that, and I'm training it. Oh, in this case, let me turn it off in a jiffy. So if I'm training it, I'm training Spearman, you can see that I can also supervise it, and this bar will go up much faster. So just like the Imperial official, it can still boost training. It does not, however, boost resource gathering. So if I try to, in this case, if I try to boost the resource gathering from a mining pit, from a lumber mill, or from a regular mill, it's not going to work. So it doesn't boost resources, it does boost production and research speed. The other thing that the Seonbi Scholar does is it boosts the Seowon Academy. So you can see right here, it has this like tax indicator. This tax indicator is actually the amount of literature it's generating every single minute. And if I assign my Seonbi Scholar to it, you'll see it's supervising it. This is actually called studying. So when you do that, then it actually boosts it by an additional 25%. Each Seonbi Scholar actually boosts it by additional 25%. So if I actually in a jiffy this, you can see I can make a bunch of Seonbi Scholars. They can't all supervise the same building right here, so only one of them works in this case. But if they all supervise the Seowon Academy, they'll all go to work, and you'll notice that this number is now much higher as a result. Starting the Feudal Age, you do have access to this Hangul script. This is a reference to King Sejong officiating this new Korean language during the Joseon Dynasty. where now when supervising, it's not just 25% boost, it's a 40% boost on top of whatever you're seeing here. So this allows you to either build this civilization tall or wide. So if you had like, let's say I had a lot of wood, I can build like another Seowon Academy over here. Maybe I build one like over here or something like that. Although these Seowon Academies are kind of in weak positions. But you can see now I have a bunch of Seowon Academies and they're all kind of generating resources. But if I don't want to defend like all these different territories and I just want to focus on like one really good Seowon, like for instance this one's generating a lot at base, I just spam Seonbis. They do cost gold, but now as a result I'm able to get a much higher resource output just by building tall as opposed to building wide. So that's one of the options with this civilization. One more thing to call out about the Seowon Academy is that you'll notice it has an influence, and just like the Byzantine cisterns, I can't build it in the same influence area as another Seowon Academy, so they kind of block each other out. So it kind of forces the Koreans to kind of build it further out as they expand their base. Okay, so that's the first thing to consider. Next up, let's look at let's age up actually. So we'll take a look at there's two landmarks. This civ just ages up with landmarks, just like normal civ. Two options in each age. We'll look at one this time and maybe another one the next time. So the first one I'm going to show off is the Stone Pagoda. This is a really basic landmark. It serves as a universal drop-off, and then each time you get a technology researched, you get a free villager from this landmark. So very powerful. Up to 8 villagers can be unlocked, so it's a really good way to boost your early game economy. The other one is Bulguksa Temple. So this is a more interesting one, so maybe I'll try this one first. So when we build this landmark, it trains this unique unit. So it doesn't do anything other than train this unique unit. It's called the Hwarang, specifically a mounted Hwarang. So this kind of looks like a what's it called? The Onamusha for the Japanese. Unfortunately, we can't get completely new assets or anything like that, so we have to stick with recycled existing assets. But this thing moves as fast as a horseman, shoots as fast as a Mongolai. It doesn't do the running and shooting thing that Mongolai do, but it is a horse archer that is extremely fast. So Mongolai are actually relatively slow compared to most other kind of cavalry units. So being able to like both attack really quick and also move really quick is this unit's crazy advantage. It does, however, have a very short attack range at 3.5, so it does put itself at a disadvantage when it like gets really close. It's a perfect raiding unit though. You can see here it's clearly outrunning the scout. The other really powerful thing about this unit is that you can dismount it, and now it turns into a man-at-arms using the samurai outfit here. But this is a very tanky, durable man-at-arms. It has the same health as I think an Imperial Age man-at-arms. It's just extremely tanky. Otherwise, the stats are not crazy remarkable or anything like that. But all in all, this is a very powerful unit. It is powerful. It does, however, cost quite a pretty penny. So it's 200 literature in the Feudal Age. So instead of costing normal resources, you need to spend literature to make this unit. So this means you're not getting your early game econ text. So one thing to watch out for. The really cool thing though about this is that as you kill more and more units with your Hwarang, and you can switch back into it, it just takes like 6 seconds to convert between the two different modes. As you kill more and more units, the Bulguksa Temple generates additional literature. So each time you kill a unit with the Hwarang, Bulguksa Temple will generate additional literature. So this is a great little synergy here. And then the other cool thing is that if you research this Warrior Poets tech, you can give your Hwarang the ability of the Seonbi. So the way I'm seeing this unit is actually like you go out there and you go and fight a lot, and you get a bunch of kills. You start generating some literature here, and then afterwards, oh, they're fighting over here. So you see, I'm super weak to horsemen over here. But if I switch over to men-at-arms, then all of a sudden I'm crazy durable. It's like insanely durable unit. In fact, this is actually so durable we might need to nerf this particular unit. That's a little bit too insane. But anyways, so the idea is you go out there, you get a bunch of kills, and afterwards you research this, and now all of a sudden you have this study ability, and you can make your Hwarang study at the Seonbi. So now it also functions just like the Seonbi over here. So it's kind of like you know, you're an effective fighter, and then eventually you put down your weapons and you pick up the plowshare and you turn into a researcher or something like that. That's kind of the thematic with this kind of unit. And if you know your history, Hwarang historically were kind of like the noble youths of the Shilla dynasty, and they were basically a little bit, you know, part warrior, part kind of like a poet situation anyway. So it fits really well thematically. Moving into, the next thing here is I want to show you these technologies. So I showed you this Hangul script tech, but what are these things over here? So this is one of Korea's unique abilities. They can research foreign technologies from other civilizations. So that includes things like fresh foodstuffs, fucking sanctity, sorry to swear there, but it's just, these are some crazy technologies, gambesons, Greek fire projectiles. So these are very, very unique technologies that are only available to other civilizations normally, and they're powerful, game-changing technologies too. Korea has access to them. Each game, you'll roll 4 random technologies. We made sure that in the pool of foreign technologies, all of them are going to work for this faction. So it's not like, you know, it only affects like cataphracts or whatever, and Korea doesn't have access to cataphracts. All of these technologies work for Korea. We have at least one technology per civilization, and you have a random chance of rolling it. You can only pick 2 of these technologies to research, though. So if I research fresh foodstuffs and sanctity, then I can't research gambesons and Greek fire projectiles in the future. So that's one thing to watch out for. And I'm getting attacked by quite a lot of dudes. So I'll just spam a little bit and give myself a little bit of breathing room here. This is a little bit too much going on here. Okay, cool. So let's build some unique buildings and just show you guys what kind of units are available here. So we'll have a blacksmith, barracks, archer range, stables. Okay, cool. So yeah, one of the key things about this civilization is that you need to make sure you protect your Seonbi, because these guys cost quite a bit. But unlike the Delhi scholar, they can't garrison inside of buildings automatically. So they're not protected, which means that if you're an enemy, if you're the opponent, you can easily raid the Korean player and knock out their research production. And if they don't have any producing Seowons, any Seonbis boosting that thing, they're gonna fall behind in technology. So Korea is both good at technology, but also there's a lot of counterplay here. Next up, let's take a look at some of these buildings here. So Korea in the feudal age has just basic spearmen, has basic horsemen. Their unique thing is their archers. So first off, we have the regular archer. That's just the normal archer. But then we also have this tiger hunter. So this is a really interesting unit. It basically is an armored archer, but its role is almost like a man-at-arms, where it has very, very similar stats to the men-at-arms, just a slower attack speed. It doesn't have the same range as the archer, so it shoots a little bit closer, but it essentially, like, it's crazy gold expensive, but essentially functions as kind of like your tanky front line. Korea doesn't have a regular men-at-arms unit. In fact, the unit that kind of occupies the men-at-arms role otherwise is called the Gapsa, which is actually a Castle Age heavy spearman. It's actually got the exact same stats as the Templar heavy spearman, but this is more of an anti-cavalry unit. So your generalist, like, anti-light infantry unit is actually the Tiger Hunter right here, and you get access to it in the feudal age. It does have higher attack than the normal archer, but much slower attack speed. This is also a really cool tech right here. It's called Arrow Shoots, and what it does is it gives you plus 40% range for archers, tiger hunters, and your Hwarang. So crazy powerful, since it gives you so much range. You almost always get the first shot off. The archers, when they get plus 40%, they get plus 2 range, so they have the same range as a longbowman. So think about it, you have the same range as a longbowman, but none of the deficiencies. You don't move slow or anything like that. You don't cost more. You just have archers that have the same range as a longbowman. So crazy powerful technology. It just costs quite a pretty penny in the feudal age, though. Everything else in this civilization is pretty straightforward. I'll just research fresh foodstuffs for you real quick, so you can see, like, right here we have villages that only cost 30 food here. So a very powerful technology, absolutely game-changing. Town centers are basically the exact same, nothing special going on over there. So now let's go into the Castle Age. So Castle Age, that's a little bit of an error right here. We have the Gate of Reverence and the Seonduk Observatory. The Shoutout Observatory is really interesting. Earlier I mentioned that like you only get access to 4 random foreign technologies and you can only research 2 of them, right? Well, with the Shoutout Observatory, you now can access 8 random foreign technologies and you can research 4 of them. So this is total cumulative, including the existing 4 that you had access to. So like this basically doubles the amount of foreign technologies that you have access to, which is amazing because each one of those foreign technologies are really, really powerful, and it makes your technologies 15% cheaper in their literature costs. So basically, after you research the technology, you get a refund afterwards. So it's a little bit of like a rebate system. The other one is a little bit more interesting here. This is called the Gate of Reference, and I'll show you guys exactly how it works here. So maybe I'll like build it out here or something like that. Let's make my villager. Oh, he's already moving really fast. So this looks like the Barbican or whatever, but you'll notice that it immediately spawned all these monks. So these are the righteous army warrior monks. That's what this represents. So Korea, whenever it's like facing an invasion, righteous armies are essentially like militia from the villagers and from the monks that live in the land. They'll take up arms and try to face off against the invaders, whether it's Mongols, Chinese, Japanese, whatever. So in this case, these monks have the same stats as a Shaolin monk, and you'll see that you spawn immediately with 8 of them, and this landmark will keep on producing monks for free every 20 seconds, so 20 or 30 seconds. So it automatically produces more and more monks. These monks are not controllable. I can't select them. I can't do anything to control these guys, but they will just automatically. They're like NPC monks. They'll automatically patrol the area, and you'll notice that they don't cost any pop space. So I can't control them, but they also don't cost any pop space, and they fight for me. And you'll also see that there's like a little buff indicator up there, which means if I bring like a unit over here, this buff is the meta attack speed buff. So you get a 15% attack speed buff for nearby allied units. So you can see here, my Hwarang also have this kind of like aura going about them. Another thing to call out is that the Hwarang does automatically shadow tech each time you age up. It's kind of like the Demi Lancer for the Lancasters. That being said, the Hwarang, their stats are designed to kind of fall off as you get later and later into the ages. So yeah, extremely powerful landmark. It doesn't function as a tower. You can't garrison inside of it. It doesn't shoot anybody, but it does produce these monks nonstop. And these monks can, well, they'll help you turn the tide in the fight. It essentially kind of gives you like better population if you think about it. If it's in a key fight, and if they get wounded, they're Shaolin monks, so they heal themselves right afterwards. So that's this is one of my favorite landmark designs. I think it's a super interesting defensive landmark, and it's very different than like just adding a keep or anything like that. So now going into the castle age, we can finally see what the gaps will look like. They have the Yari spearmen. They have the Yari spears from Japan, so you can clearly tell these guys mean business when it comes to countering cavalry. They have I think a plus 25% damage bonus against cavalry, so super specialized against anti-cavalry, but not as effective as a regular men-at-arms for holding the line. They're not as tanky, they don't deal as much damage, they have slower attack speed, so really specialized in the spearman role. So does that mean that the spearman is just cooked then? The spearman has no role? Well, actually, the spearmen in the Castle Age take on a slightly different role, so we'll go ahead and upgrade them into veterancy. And they have access to this technology in the Castle Age. It's called the Dangpa Trident. So you can imagine if I research this, it gives the spearman a trident. We don't actually have the visual for that. But what it does is that spearmen will attack faster, slightly faster, but they actually lose 50% of their bonus versus cavalry. So they normally have like, I think, plus 17, plus 23. So they lose like 12 damage against cavalry. So it's a huge loss. But the advantage is their attacks now apply a debuff that slows the enemy by 10% for 3 seconds. So, and it stacks infinitely. So this is a snare ability for the spearman. So the way the Civ works then, oh, there was like a big fight over here that I missed out on. The way this Civ works then is like you have these spearmen that basically slow enemies down in the front line, and in the back line you have these archers, you have these tiger hunters. I'll upgrade these guys as well. You have all these guys like shooting at them, and essentially the spearmen are there to hold the line, hold them in place, while your DPS is kind of in the front line, just like dealing damage. And then if you really need to deal with cavalry, you have this dedicated anti-cavalry heavy infantry unit. Your horsemen and lancers are just typical horsemen and lancers. We did use the Mongol asset over here to make it a little bit more interesting looking. And then lastly is the siege workshop. So for this, obviously you have your Springgold, you have your normal units, but then you also have the Hwacha. So the Hwacha is the Korean unique replacement for the Mangonel. It's not a nest of bees, it is a gigantic nest of bees, and it is the Hwacha. This thing is basically off-map artillery from, or not off-map, indirect artillery from like Company of Heroes or something like that. It has an extremely long range. You can see like from just clicking on this ability, you can't even see the range on this screen because it goes so damn far. So it can shoot all the way out here. This is, I think, the farthest attacking unit in the game with this ability. But it doesn't have a normal attack. It can only attack with this barrage ability, and as you can see, it's extremely slow moving. So it has a lot of downsides. This is a very slow moving civilization when it comes to their military. But you can see, like, I can shoot almost all the way over to these Mongolite over here. Let me see if I can get a hit off over here. So I can also target directly into the fog of war if I wanted to. This essentially functions like artillery. So we'll see right here, and you'll see it shoots this long, slow, but many arrows that all kind of smack down on the area. And if you stand still, then it's gonna basically full wipe your unit. That being said, you do have quite a lot of time to kind of dodge it after the initial barrage. So there's a lot of counterplay to this. You can kind of see this coming from a mile away. The attacks move super slow, and then you're kind of trolling if you see this attack coming and you don't move out of the way. So there's some advantages and disadvantages. The best way to use something like the Hwacha is you attack straight into the fog of war that the enemy doesn't even realize that you're attacking, and then all of a sudden they're getting peppered by just a crap ton of rocket arrows. That's kind of the fantasy here. And then you can also imagine, of course, like if you have like a whole group of them and they're all kind of firing at the same place, like even if the enemy dodges, just that like first couple of seconds of damage is just insane. It's gonna kill pretty much anything over there. So that being said, these are very expensive. They're more expensive than a Mangonel by a significant amount, especially in the gold cost. But at the same time, Korea's not spending that gold on technologies, so that means that there's like a little bit more like flexibility with what Korea can spend gold on. You'll remember that the Tiger Hunter was also very gold heavy. The Gapsa is also more gold heavy than the Man-at-Arms, so it's a very gold heavy unit civilization, but not gold heavy on the technology side. I also, speaking of the Hwacha, I also want to show off this mountain fortress. So instead of a keep, Korea has a unique keep. It's called the Mountain Fortress. This is a keep that functions as a Hwacha as well. So you see right here, built into this keep, you can also shoot a Hwacha barrage, which means so it is more expensive. It's 400 gold more expensive than a regular keep. But it's able to barrage any enemies that are coming in nearby. It has a 30-second cooldown, so you as an opponent you can kind of dodge it and then you can kind of move out of the way. But that range is just insane. So you can use it to kind of attack enemy structures nearby. You can use it to attack armies that are grouped up. Extremely powerful defensive landmark. I should also mention here that the influence from the Seowon Academy also benefits from having towers and keeps built inside of them. So each tower provides +3 literature generation to the Seowon Academy, and then each mountain fortress provides +10. So you can see, like, just by building these defenses around my Seowon Academy, I'm also boosting the amount of literature I'm generating. I wouldn't recommend spending this many resources just to boost your Seowon Academy. This is kind of like a nice to have, just kind of a way to like encourage you to plan your base intelligently. The main way you're going to get more literature is by producing Seonbi scholars and then boosting your building. In this case, you can see like all my guys got raided, so they all die, so I'm not even benefiting from that anymore. Moving on to the Imperial Age, we have the Gyeongbok Palace, which functions exactly like the Mountain Fortress. It functions exactly like the Mountain Fortress. It's a keep with a Hwacha emplacement, but it also allows Mountain Fortresses to train unique units at a 30% discount spending literature. So this is a way to, in the late game, after you've researched all your technologies, you can spend literature to kind of boost your army. So whether it's the Gapsa, Tiger Hunter, or Hwacha, you can kind of use literature to research it, to train that unit. The alternative is the Hall of Worthies. So this is the one that we're going to build. Hall of Worthies basically functions kind of like the Griat Bara, where yeah, you can basically cast these different abilities, and it boosts your economy. So increase your food gathering rate for 60 seconds. You spend literature, by the way, to activate all these, and you can activate multiple at the same time. So I can boost my wood, or I can boost my mining, and I can have them all active. And during this time period, like my villagers will work much faster. Korea doesn't have any economic bonuses aside from this one, really. This is kind of like the only direction you can go in if you want like a really economically vibrant Korea. What Korea can benefit from is either you get a lucky roll on your foreign technologies and one of them really helps with your economy, or you basically have to play into the Seowon system and then like use this to buffer up your technologies. That's kind of the way this civ is designed. So no inherent economic bonuses, but like if you play it intelligently, there's like certain economic bonuses you can derive from what's built into this civ. Let's see what else is here. I'll build a university. Nothing super unique going on over here. Blacksmith is also the same. The main thing to show, there's two things to show here now. The first one is I want to show off the Tiger Hunter. So after you research Elite Tiger Hunter here, so you can see now these are not Palace Guards, even though they look like Palace Guards. These are the Tiger Hunters in the Imperial Age. You can actually research another technology called Explosive Arrows. So if you research this, they now have the samurai look. And I'm sure like any history pedants will hate me for using a samurai look here. But these guys now shoot rocket arrows, and I want to show you guys what that looks like. But there's no enemies over here. Maybe I'll just leave them on the front line. Hopefully an enemy will show up. Maybe I'll build a wonder here. Oh, the Mongol player built a wonder. Okay, so I'll have these guys like slowly make their way over to the enemy base. In the meantime, I want to show one other thing, which is the Imperial Age Mongol Lancer. So once you research the Elite Lancer, they look like this, which looks super awesome in my opinion. And then there's this Iron Flails technology. Lancers get plus 250% range. So now you can have 2 rows of Lancers. So like this guy in the back can actually attack in the front as well. You'll see that they get longer weapons over here. Unfortunately, there's no Iron Flail equivalent, so we had to go with the Onobugeisha weapon here. But it's a super long-range weapon, and as a result, you can have multiple rows of Lancers attacking, which means Lancers are crazy powerful when it comes to this civilization. And now you can see I'm fighting over here. You can see that my guys are now shooting their rocket arrows. This makes this civilization really good against grouped up. This is like especially effective against grouped up archers in the late game. So I mentioned before that like the Tiger Hunter's role is basically like a man-at-arms. So it's like a hard counter to archers. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. Is like shoots a rocket arrow and it will hit people in a group. In this case, nobody's grouped up, but I promise you that's gonna happen. Maybe I can hit the spearman and show you guys the AOE damage here. Boom. Okay, cool. So you see, not crazy, but imagine if you had like 20 of these guys just like one-shotting this group of spearmen right here. That's basically the gist of it. Let's see, is there anything else to show off here about Korea? I think we got pretty much everything. Oh, when it comes to foreign technologies, you can get a preview of what foreign technologies you have the moment you start the game. That's this button right here. If you are going up against Korea, you can also click on this button. You'll also have this access inside of your civilization. Let's say if you're the opponent, you can also click on this button as well inside of your own town center. And you'll see all the foreign technologies that Korea has access to. This way, you don't have to like... you won't get like completely surprised when Korea starts like getting fresh foodstuffs and spamming villagers or whatever. That's basically it. Oh, in the Imperial Age, Gate of Reverence produces even more monks. So you have a small little army defending my area over here, and I think that's all. Yeah, cool. So let's hop into a game and briefly show you guys the starting build order. Okay, so here's my starting build order with Korea. You're gonna start by sending out your scout. And I'm going to have all my villagers go and chop down a tree and pull one villager off to build the Seowon, the first Seowon. In this case, you want to find something that's relatively defensive while gathering as much natural resources as possible. The reason why you're going to chop down that tree is because you're going to get a villager out and you're going to build a house and, of course, a mining camp. So you need at least 50 wood, one drop here, to then build the mining camp. So that's going to be your start, and then everyone else just goes on sheep, while that your initial villager goes out there. And you'll see that, don't forget that your first Seonbi also gets spawned right after you build the first Seowon Academy. And at some point, I'm going to send a second villager over to gather the gold. So pretty standard, pretty simple start. Gather 50 wood, build a Seowon Academy so you can start generating that literature. As you can see here, I'm already generating 80 literature per minute, which is pretty good if you think about it. Like if a villager in the Imperial Age is like 30 resources a minute, the Seowon is, especially since you get the free Seonbi scholar, you're basically getting like 2 to 3 villagers for free, depending on how you roll the resource placements here. So almost similar to getting like a Malian pit mine up, maybe even a little bit better. The only disadvantage, of course, is that gold is a little bit more useful for everything because it also builds units, whereas for Korea, literature is mainly used for just researching technology. So we're going to keep on grabbing some food here, using my scout to scout out in the meantime. And Korea in the early game is really not much of a gold-heavy civilization. I don't need gold for most things, especially when I hit the Feudal Age. I'm going to be spamming archers primarily, so wood is kind of like the main resource that Korea really, really loves getting. So that's one thing to watch out for. Yeah, so Korea, since their technologies don't cost gold, you really don't need that much gold. In fact, with just like 1 or 2 Seonbi scholars or 1 or 2 Seowons in the early game, you can actually research professional scouts basically immediately after you age up. So that's a very, very powerful thing you can do with this civilization. And since the Seonbi scholar basically functions like an imperial official, it can boost production speed. It can boost the production speed of the tech being researched, and then it can boost the production speed of the scouts being trained. So thing to watch out for that. So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and build the stone pagoda here. Let's build it up like, let's build it right up against this wood line actually. Stone pagoda does function as a universal drop-off, so setting it up here allows us to just gather the wood here a little bit easier. That being said, we probably want to build a wood lumber camp anyways, just because we want to research those technologies. So now I'm transitioning pretty much everything off of food and getting onto wood. That's going to be the resource I'm going to be really hungry for going into the Feudal Age. You do have the ability to build as many Seowons as you want. There's no limit on it. It's not like restricted to an age or something like that, like the pit mine. I think you have a maximum of like 8 or 10 that you can build. So there's no reason not to just like kind of start spamming these, especially since each one is worth like 2 to 3 villagers. It's a great way to kind of boost your early game economy. Let's go ahead and build a house as well. I always like building houses with my gold miners because I'll keep the 2 gold miners on here just because it's too much effort to move them off. There's not really anything I need them to do though. We don't super need gold right now. 4 villagers on the landmark, pretty standard starting build order. And then the thing about the stone pagoda is that each time I research a technology, it's going to queue a free villager here. So now I'm heavily incentivized to research as many technologies as I can. So which means I'm actually going to get a second Seonbi scholar out, since I have the gold. So I want to boost the amount of literature I'm generating here. So my guy came out. I'm gonna go ahead and start boosting this thing. You can stack multiple Seonbi scholars on the same Seowon, so really, really important to remember that. Stone pagoda, I'm gonna route it to a wood, and I'm gonna keep on producing villagers over here. Let's go ahead and keep it on 4 villagers on food, and now I actually have enough resources to build another Seowon. Oh, so this is like a juicy Seowon. But at the same time, it's like putting me at a risky position, right? It's like so many natural resources. I can probably get it even better. Like, how do I maximize this? Like, this is probably the best I can do. So I can, it's like, you see, like I'm heavily encouraged to play greedy on the map. I have to go out. It's not like the Lancaster thing where you can just generate resources for free inside your base. I'm gonna go ahead and research some technologies here, so that way I can take advantage of the boost I'm getting. At the same time, let's get a barracks up. I know I'm against an AI, but I have to pretend at least a little bit like there's gonna be a threat here. Some of the ways I'm playing right now are probably a little bit too greedy for an actual game. but just we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna show you guys kind of the basics here. Oh, okay. It's also early game. I should have been looking at the foreign technologies I had access to me, so I click on this button, I can see which ones I'm going to have. Sanctity, which means I can capture sacred sites with my Seonbi scholars, which is huge. Chivalry is huge. So see, when I see chivalry, it actually affects my mounted Hwarangs as well, which are those horse archer units I showed you earlier. So when I see that, it's actually a really good sign that I should get the Hwarang in the future, because it synergizes so well. Because your Hwarang love raiding, and now you get to passively heal while you're away. Billman buffs my spears, and then I have imported armor, which increases the armor of my lancers. So this means I might want to go heavy into like a lancer comp in the late game. For now, let's get Sanctity, since I'm going to be I have all these scholars already kind of hanging out. And let's start building some more units here. I can probably get one more Seowon up. Let's see if I can maybe do it here. How do I maximize the game? Maybe that one. Okay. Cool. Still running around here. And you see, like, my villagers, I'm already at 27 at this point. It's just because I have so many technologies getting pumped out here. I'm going to research wheelbarrow, I'm going to get forestry. That way we can get the stone pagoda really pumping. And now might even be a good time to go for my hunt. At the same time, we're going to start producing archers. We have so much wood on the side over here. You can see, like, I'm kind of struggling with the amount of literature over here. Even though I have 3 Seowon academies, I don't have enough Seonbis to actually really boost my economy the way I want to at this point. I also have Sanctity, technically, so I'm actually going to send a guy out to go capture some sacred sites. That's the thing I need right now. So now, see, like, now I'm Korea, but I'm playing this civilization like I'm Delhi all of a sudden. So that's kind of a cool thing. At least I think it's kind of cool. Let's get some more guys out. We need some more food, actually. Let's have you guys. Is there a boar over here? I'm just gonna get really greedy and play it on the map. And you can see here, I'm just gathering gold. I don't need gold at all. Until, actually, I start researching these tiger hunters. Or start training these tiger hunters, rather. So maybe we'll get the mill tech over here. And I think it might also be a good idea for me to research Hangul script, since I have a lot of Seonbis. Hangul script boosts the amount of the amount that my Seonbi scholars boost the Seowon by 15%, so it's going to be super useful. And let's also get this. Get some boar. Korea is not a Muslim civilization, so I can totally get boar. Although the way I'm playing right now is very undefended. You cannot do this if you're not, unless you're against an AI in this case. So you can see here, I captured sacred sites in the feudal age. I'm basically cosplaying as Delhi right now. At the same time, I think I want to move all my Seonbi scholars to this one, actually. So this Seowon Academy has a higher base value, and since Seonbi scholars boost the amount of literature gathered by 25%, flat from the base, and like each additional one boosts by another 25%. It's not multiplicative. It's like a additive. So with 4 Seonbi scholars, I'm boosting it by 100%. So it goes from 90 up to 200, and then with another one, it's another 100 plus 150%, 125% basically. And now that we have the Hangul script, it's even more because it's 40% per Seonbi scholar. So basically, long story short, I'm balling with the amount of literature I'm getting, and you can see that reflected in my literature economy. So this frees up a lot of space for me to like produce more units, research more technologies. You can see here there's so many technologies. All these blacksmith technologies also benefit the stone pagoda, so I want to get those 8 villagers out ASAP. I'm gonna keep on producing units in the meantime. In a real game, I would have been raided to hell like 5 times already, but luckily we are in an AI game, so don't have to worry about that. Let's get the military out here. Yeah, see, this villager's like chopping wood next to my front line here. And this is the hardest AI. I don't know what's going on. Why are they doing that? Okay, what other foreign technologies do I have access to here? I can research 2 of them. So if I get the Sanctity, I can't get Chivalry, but I can get imported armor. If I'm aging up now, and you see like 2 villagers on gold, I guess plus all the sacred sites I'm getting now. So I guess I have a ton of gold income just because of the sacred sites. Let's go ahead and build like I haven't shown you guys Seonbi Academy or Seonbi Observatory. I should do that. So this one I'll build like somewhere close to my base. Since you guys already saw the monks, I'll show this one, and we'll finish up this wall over here. I don't need to research professional scouts anymore, so I'm not going to worry too much about that one. I would like to get some stables out because we have a lot of knights that we're going to be producing. For these guys, you're just going to make houses because I don't even need that much gold. Yeah, you can see like I have a nice economy going. I have all this passive income coming in from my Seowon academies. A lot of dudes right here generating additional literature. So in a way, literature is kind of capped by the amount of population you have because these guys basically function like villagers. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And we should also research this arrow shoots ability so that way we have longer range archers. Gonna build a barracks as well. Okay, so now let's take a look at this landmark. So you'll see, all of a sudden, I have access to 8 technologies, whereas previously I only had 4. Apologies for this UI being a little bit jank. We could not extend this UI background, unfortunately. So you just kind of have to remember that like these technologies are still fair game, even though it doesn't mean they're fair game. But yeah, we have 4 additional random technologies. That includes all pikes, which increases the damage of my spearmen. Scale armor increases the range armor of gilded archers. I think that applies to the tiger hunters in this case. And then we have gambesons and trade bags, which boost my trade income. So none of them are like crazy. I guess scale armor is pretty good. Let's go ahead and research this and just see what happens. So I have +1 right now, and my archers also, my regular archers also have +1. If I research scale armor, we'll kind of see what we get here. In fact, I'm going to boost the speed that technology is getting generated at. And these guys, I'm gonna have you guys go onto some food. And you can see, oh my god, I'm still at a bottleneck when it comes to the amount of literature I have. I need to build even more Seowon academies. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. So many resources at this point. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, still behind us. Okay, so we'll research. We'll get some more Seonbi scholars on this thing. And we boosted the archer. We got the dragon scales or whatever. Oh, okay, so it affects regular archers, and it affects tiger hunters. Okay, so that's a crazy powerful ability. My archers are insanely powerful thanks to the advantage of cheating off of your enemies, researching technologies that belong to other people. It's great. Oh no, losing a bunch of abilities over here. Looks like the hardest AI is finally attacking me. So at this point, you guys have already seen kind of like the basic build order. You start out with that initial Seowon. Now I'm just kind of like playing from here and like seeing where this goes. So research some more stuff. Maybe get another one out. Challenging to find her. Yeah, so you can see the range of this thing. The one thing is that my current build doesn't have anything that can stop the Gulams. I guess the Lancers are the way I counter Gulams. But Korea is very weak to any civ that has a really strong front line, because Korea's front line is not as durable as your regular like tanky man-at-arms kind of front line. So that's one disadvantage to watch out for. And we're just gonna go ahead. Let's just build a thing right over their base. Yeah, we'll do our farm transition right now. Okay. Send my army out here. We'll build the landmark right in their base, basically. Let's also get imported armor and chivalry. So my spearmen have the Dangpa Trident now. You should be able to see the way enemy units get slowed down. Does it work right now? Let's see here. Oh, okay. Now I have the Gyeongbok Palace. We can go ahead and just like start firing at people here. Boom. Absolute devastation. I don't know if I have the technology research. Oh no, I do. Okay, and the Gyeongbok Palace allows us to train unique Korean units right on the front line here by spending literature. So you can see here I can build the Hwacha. Oh, Chongtong is a technology I didn't talk about. It makes the Hwachas a little bit more effective against buildings and ships. Hwacha, as we'll see in a moment, it's actually not that good against buildings. We thought it would be a little bit too OP if you could just like smack buildings with it, because there's basically no counter to it. It's kind of like a trebuchet in that sense, and we didn't want to take away the trebuchet's role. Let's see here. What can I add to this? Pretty much everything at this point. So we have the Hwacha. I'll research. I have a second Hwacha coming. There's not much I can take over at this point. I'm just gonna start attacking that building, I think. And even have the keep also do some rocket artillery on that building, their town center. And yeah, you can see the damage is kind of negligible, but if you can attack it in the fog of war without getting vision of it, you can attack it at range. Those are some of the advantages of the Hwacha. We didn't want to make it too ridiculously unbalanced. And this is also before we get the Chongtong ability. Maybe if I research this, we can see what it looks like. Yeah, oh my god, I am so behind on the amount of literature I'm generating here. Let's get some more of these guys up. This technology is also taking a while. Whew. Oh, wait a second for that. Yeah, so you can see this is like a... I wonder if the spearmen have their ability going off at this point. So the armored spearmen do not get access to the slowdown. It's only the regular spearmen that get access to it. And in a moment, when we get this technology up, actually let's build a second. Let's build a second keep right here in the base. Okay, so the technology is ready. So you can see +3 versus building per rocket arrow. So if we start shooting at it now, shoot with all 3. See how much damage that does. See, it moves much more faster, but it's still not like an insane amount, right? It's just respectable. We wanted to make sure that this civ is not like some crazy broken thing. Cooldown's almost over, and then we'll be able to finish off this this town center. This is a boss hit, right? So that means all I need to do is actually kill the House of Wisdom. Okay, let's try it one more time. now it's down, just like that. And I had the university up because I wanted to also add chemistry to this. So Korea is not China, so you don't automatically, just because you have like a nested bees looking unit, doesn't mean you automatically have chemistry. Little known fact, China automatically has chemistry. So we will have to get chemistry ourselves. And let's just spam Hwachas actually. I want to see how quickly we can take down this House of Wisdom just with Hwachas. We're also waiting for chemistry to finish. Oh, see, that was kind of interesting. So this is a bug that we'll sometimes see is like, we'll cast Barrage, but it won't target the building, it will instead target some random thing. So just now, the Barrage took out the stables instead of the attacking the House of Wisdom here. Get all these guys on there. Kind of feels like I'm cheating right now. So powerful at this point. Okay, so now chemistry is researched. We'll see how much damage this thing takes. Still not very much. Yeah, 4 damage per rocket arrow. Not making much of a difference right now. We're gonna be here for a while. I might speed this up. There we go. Cool. And just like that, that is Korea. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Try it out yourself. I'd love to hear your feedback on this civ design. Personally, this is one of the most exciting civilizations that I've had a chance to work on. I've always wanted to see Korea added to AOE 4. It's been devastating to me to see the devs not commit to making full-fledged civs. Instead, it feels like we're getting like half aborted civilizations, like the like worker elephant Delhi variant that has ballista elephants. So it's kind of like a Khmer civilization that got turned into a Delhi variant, and then there's like a Viking civilization that's actually like the Byzantine. There's some like disgusting shit going on in this new expansion, but I wish we had fully fledged civs. At least we can get some modded civilizations that kind of feel a little bit like what the civ would be designed as. Yeah, give it a shot. I think this feels like a super unique civilization to play. It's super fun. It makes me think about the strategy and gameplay differently. Yeah, if you have some games that are interesting, like please send them my way. I'll check out the replay. I'll even cast it. I'd love to feature it on the channel. All right, thanks guys. That's all from me. Stay frosty, stay chilly.